a tetrad of lunar eclipses, presented by Science at NASA. For people in the United States, an extraordinary series of lunar eclipses is about to begin. The action starts on April 15th, when the full moon passes through the amber shadow of Earth, producing a midnight eclipse visible across North America. That night marks the beginning of a lunar eclipse tetrad, a series of 4 consecutive total eclipses occurring at 6-month intervals. The total eclipse of April 15, 2014 will be followed by another on October 8, 2014, and another on April 4, 2015, and another on September 28, 2015. The most unique thing about the 2014-2015 tetrad is that all of them are visible for all or parts of the USA, says longtime NASA eclipse expert Fred Espenak.
And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out of my Spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaidens I will pour out in those days of my Spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I will show wonders in heaven above, and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before that great and notable day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved.
That's pretty wild. So here he takes off our calendar, like September 19th and October 20th or whatever. He puts the biblical calendar under there, and all of a sudden, here's this pattern. That on the first day of Passover, a red moon, which is the first feast, and the 7th feast is Tabernacles, and it has a red moon. It's almost like God put a red dot at the beginning of the year and a red dot at the end of the year for 2014. Then 2015, he put another red dot on Passover and another red dot on Tabernacles, so God was bracketing those 2 years, right?
Exactly.
So where did it lead from there?
Well, okay, so now I thought, okay, well, how often does it happen on the feast days? Well, so I went to last century, and the last time it occurred was, look at the slide here, it was in 1967 when Israel captured Jerusalem in 1968. They not only were tetrads, they fell on Passover and Sukkot, Passover and Sukkot. So I thought, this is crazy. When does the next time it appear? Well, it happened also last century. Guess what? Right after they became a nation in 48. They happened in 1949 and 1950. And so here's like, oh my goodness, this is tied to Israel, and these are the signs in the heavens on the feast days, so God is sending us signals.
Okay. For those who, this is kind of new, why people are going ooh or ah over 1967. In 1967, there was a 6-day war, and it's called the 6-day war. It didn't last very long, but it made dramatic changes. And that's when Israel and her neighbors went to war, and the Golan Heights and the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, everything everybody's fighting about today. But more importantly than that, they recaptured Jerusalem and East Jerusalem and where the Temple Mount is. And so that's why the world has been going crazy ever since then. But what's significant is that happened, and we're still feeling the effects of it today. And what's fascinating is, immediately after that dramatic event, regardless of how you feel about it, for the next 2 years, on Passover, Tabernacles, Passover and Tabernacles, God put 4 red dots, 4 blood moons. And if you look at Genesis, that he gave the sun and the moon for signals on the feast days, and it follows a dramatic event, woo, that's powerful. So that's the last time there were 4 blood moons. Something major happened. There was a major war and a major shift geopolitically in Israel in 1967-68. Then he went back again. Well, when did this happen again? And it was after 1948. Well, that's after World War II. It's after the Holocaust. It's right after Israel became a nation for the first time in 2,000 years in 1948. Immediately after 1948, there's Passover, a blood moon, Tabernacles, a blood moon. In the next year, 49, and then 1950, again, there was a blood moon on Passover, a blood moon on Tabernacles, 4 in a row. Do you see a pattern here? Every time there's 4 blood moons, something major happened, or a war or something in Israel. And so now he looks forward. It's going to happen in 2014 and 15. What does that mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, the radical Islamic army is not coming to America, it's here. With Iran's nuclear power and Russia's support of Iran, Iran intends to attack Israel and America.